Namaste. Thank you so much for joining the Easter Maha Sadhana. I actually forgot to press record during the actual class, so this is a reenactment of it, and I hope to get as close as possible to what I did today. There won't be instruction to individuals, of course, because of that, but that'll make it go a little bit more smoothly in any case. And so thank you for your interest in any case. So let's begin on that note. So let's sit tall and straight, close the eyes, and bring the attention inward. Before creation, what existed? God was always there in the midst of it all, and God will still be there even beyond the ends of this universe. Attune to the highest, supreme consciousness now. Let's begin with the sound of Om 3 times to attract divine attention. Imagine you are everywhere. You will live hereafter. Of this there is no doubt. Om Namah Shivaya. I bow to the inner light. beings everywhere be happy and free from suffering, and enjoy this practice through our senses. May the Lord protect us and guide us through the practice and bestow upon us the fruits of knowledge. May we always have a strong desire for that knowledge that liberates us from pain and suffering. And may we cherish no ill feelings against each other, only peace, love, joy, and compassion. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's do the mantra for purification 3 times to purify the space, the grounds, and all the psychic channels within. If you know it, of course, you can do it along with me. If not, just imagine you're chanting it through the voice of the Guru, and you benefit from all these effects of purification. So try to do it each time. We'll do it 3 times, each time in one breath, and do it with conviction and with volume so it can be heard by both the subtle bodies within and the gross bodies outside and all around. Om Pavitraha Pavitra Va Sawa Vashtanga Topi Va Yaha Smarit Pandrikaksham Sabaya Bihantraha Sajihi. Om Pavitraha Pavitra Va Sawa Vashtanga Topi Va Yaha Smarit Pandrikaksham Sabaya Bihantraha Sajihi. Om Pavitraha Pavitra Va Sawa Vashtanga Topi Va Yaha Smarit Pandrikaksham Sabaya Bihantraha Sajihi. So now I'll just start with some spiritual discourse. I always consider this the best of the practice when we're with Sri Dharma Mittra, because he imparts so many gems that help us to towards as we move towards self-realization, and it's very powerful knowledge that helps us to help remove the pain and suffering. So I'd just like to start off with some of the highlights, some of the stuff that he talks about a lot, and wrap that up in the theme of the occasion that we're celebrating this weekend, Easter, which is all about transformation, about new life, and about joy, of course. So on that note, what do we need to do, and what we need in order to stay in that joyful state, that content state? So first of all, it's important to understand the gunas, which tend to shift us from one state to another as a result of just what's going on in the universe and where we're at and our karma and all sorts of influential factors. So the gunas are like qualities or states of the universe, and at any given point there's one that's more prevalent than the others, and us and individuals, we tend to embody a certain quality ourselves. And so I'll just explain the 3 states now. So there's a sattvic state, and there's a rajasic state, and a tamasic state. Now yogis, we tend to try to stay in the sattvic state, and that's the dominant characteristic in the sages, the yogis that are very that especially those who are self-realized. So the sattvic state is characterized by peace of mind, by purity, by goodness, and is a state where we tend to be in the state where we tend to be free of suffering, where we tend to be content. And so we do the actions that keep us in that state, and we eat the foods that promote that pure, healthy state of well-being. So it's pure foods that are rich in prana. That food in essence is like a living form of prana. It's the closest manifestation of prana that we can think of in the physical world, and so it helps us to keep us in that state that is healthy, that is vibrant, that is full of life and energy. But we don't always stay in that state just because of what's going on around us, because of others who are of course, we're not islands. We all interact with people and situations. So, and because of our past karmas and our past impressions and our thought patterns, we don't always stay in that state. And so what happens, sometimes we're pulled into the rajasic state, which is a state of action, of restlessness. And this state is where we tend to experience suffering, because in a restless state, sometimes that leads to discontent, and we tend to sometimes that tends to generate some desires, especially for stuff in the material world, even people, like that we can have all sorts of desires for all sorts of things and people and situations. But the problem is those desires, when they get strong, when they overtake us, they turn into attachments. And attachments, as you might have experienced, lead to suffering. And so that is, in this state, it's also characterized by, you can imagine how that manifests in the food form, for instance. It's food that tends to excite us. Spicy food that is just tends to put us in a restless and overactive or overstimulated state. So this is what we're trying to, eventually want to try to get out of that active state and to quell those desires that can cause restlessness and move back into sattvic state. And then there is a tamasic state, which is the lowest form, the lowest quality, and it's associated with dullness, with darkness, with inertia, with all these states that are very, very negative and very, very low. And in that state, that's characterized by lethargy and laziness and negativity and just really dark, almost those states that we definitely don't associate with that bring about a good outcome. And the food that we tend to associate with the tamasic state is dead, fried, frozen food that has no life, that has very little nutritious nutrients, and that brings us into a state of even further dullness and deadness. So as Sri Dharma Mittra says, if you eat dead, fried, frozen foods, you're going to feel dead, fried, and frozen. So, of course, we just try not to be in that state as well. But the important thing to remember is that all these states are transitory. And so we have to keep on thinking to ourselves that this too shall pass. So we just try as much as possible to stay in the sattvic state, that state of calmness and virtue. And when we do enter in those states that are those lower states, we do our best to escape them and to not get too brought down by them, because we will eventually, we will eventually go back to the sattvic state. And in order to do this, of course, we just try to act in a way that's consistent with the ethical precepts, the yama and niyama. And first and foremost, compassion. Ahimsa, which is the first rule, the first ethical precept on which all the others will come naturally as a result of it, stem from it. So when we're acting in a way that's compassionate, that when we're trying to act in a way that will not take away the comfort from others, this will help us to stay in that state because it brings about good outcome. We always try to keep in our mind, do good, be good. But even more powerfully, do better and be better. And the highest, of course, do your best and be your best. So that's why we're always trying to say in the Sri Dharma Mittra, as Sri Dharma Mittra says, just do your best, try your best all the time. such a simple rule, but so powerful and so helpful. And and then the last thing that he talks about a lot is to remember the rules, the laws of karma, because no matter what we're going through at this point is because of a deed of the past. So even though it feels like sometimes that it's a very negative form, and like everything we do, like all the suffering we're doing is because of punishment for what we did in the past. Think of it more as an opportunity to evolve spiritually. So just try to cast a more positive light on it. No one suffers more than anyone else. God never lets his children suffer, anyone suffer than anyone else. Just remember that we are all there. If you're entering into a place of suffering and you feel that sometimes there's a situation or people, other individuals who have caused that for you, is because of maybe something that you did in the past that caused the same amount of pain, inflicted some pain upon others. But as we grow, as we get more knowledge through our experiences, then we'll learn to avoid those situations. We'll act in a way that's always consistent with those ethical rules that will keep us in that place that will keep bringing us positive outcome. So all these things will keep us along, moving towards self-realization, which is the ultimate goal. So remember that we are all one, we're all of the same form. And the last thing I'd like to end with is that something that Sri Dharma Mittra says, that I really like. He says, rest your mind on the infinite. And there's many ways that you can think of the infinite, or many ways, ways you can think of it. And I like to think of maybe rest your mind on all the infinite ways that we are similar. When we concentrate too much on all the infinite ways that we are dissimilar, this causes separation. And we want to instead think about all the ways that we are the same, because ultimately all forms merge together. We are all the same. Our true nature is not this body, not this mind. When we identify too much with that, sometimes it can move into a negative form, and we see those differences, and then that's where prejudice and where all these negative aggression, all these negative mindsets come about. So when we think more about God, who ties us all together, that common thread that brings us all together, that is equally present in all beings, and then maybe that will help us to find again all the ways that we embody all these qualities of God, and see how they are reflected in other forms too. So let's just think about that, and then hopefully that will keep us in that theme of just, transforming, moving towards a higher state of ourselves, and that will bring about the joy that we're all searching. Everybody, ultimately everyone just wants to be happy. So let's just try to find those actions and thoughts and words that always bring us back to that contentment for all beings. So just show our concurrence to that by that ultimate mantra, Om, that just says, I agree to this. Now we're going to do some pranayama exercises. Pranayama is a gateway to the higher realms of yoga. It is a transition that helps us, is that state that helps us transition from the outward yoga, the outward processes, to the inward processes, the Raja Yoga. And so it's a very important part of the practice that is sadly neglected. So we just really try to enforce all the different aspects because when at some point we may lose the asanas because of age, because of injury, because of any number of things, but we still have the pranayama, and so this will help us also to set the mind up for to be in a better state for meditation. It helps us with our concentration, which is basically unbroken meditation. So sometimes concentration is difficult, especially because when our mind is young and our spirits are young and our minds are restless. So in order to help us increase our concentration, sometimes it helps to focus our mind on something. So this is a technique that helps to cultivate the imagination. The more imagination we have, the more we can realize for ourselves. So this is sound breathing, also known as color breathing. So what we're doing in this technique is we're trying to visualize all the colors. Imagine that colors and that make up the sound, the mantra Om. You might have heard that the Om contains all those sounds, vibrations, and colors of the universe. And so what we're doing in this technique, imagine we're breaking up the Om into its individual constituents, and each of those colors associate to different parts, areas of the body. When you visualize chakras, they all have a different color. And so we're going to direct our attention to those areas in the body and visualize a color and do the sound associated with it. And it not only increases our protection of that area, and it brings healing as well. So if you direct an intention of healing to those areas, that will help to bring about good health, whether in our body or in other people's bodies too. So as we do the sound, just allow the exhale to carry the sound through until you run out of breath, and just feel the lingering effects. Imagine those effects, even past the chanting of the sound, are still there and are still bringing about the benefit. Okay, so let's bring our attention first to the lower three chakras located at the root of the body, the sacral area, and the navel. Color is red, and the sound is ah. Inhale. I forgot to mention, it also increases our aura too, which is our protection against negative effects, negative energy directed towards us, either unintentionally or intentionally. So imagine a big force field of colors around you, and this is the protection. You're trying to strengthen that so that it doesn't penetrate that negative energy doesn't penetrate that aura. So now let's go up to the heart, and the color is green, and imagine that you're bringing about emotional and physical healing of that area. The sound is U, higher pitch this time. Inhale. U. Go up to the base of the throat now. The color is blue. The sound is so. So may all the words come out of the throat always be ones of loving kindness. Inhale. So. Let's go up to the space between the eyebrows. The sound is sun. Concentrate on the end part of the sound that produces the vibrations that are powerful enough to dislodge all the toxin from wherever they're sitting in the body. Imagine all those impurities are going into the bloodstream and eventually carried out of the body. You can also think of the pituitary gland, which is in that area as well. And this is like the hub of the endocrine system, the control center. So imagine all the blood glands being brought into a state of radiant health too. Sound of sun, the color indigo. Inhale. Sun. Go up to the crown. The sound, the color is violet. The sound is sum, S-U-M. Again, we concentrate on the M part of the sound, the humming, which helps to promote mental sharpness and clarity. And of course, this, as you can imagine, helps with the concentration as well. Inhale. Sum. Let's do it one more time. Some to bring about the mental clarity and the sharpness that will help improve our discernment. And through the discernment, we recognize all the actions that are right, and we do actions that are virtuous, that will not harm others inadvertently. Inhale. Some. Just take a moment to notice any effects, any changes in the state of mind, body, or emotions. Be like the witness, unjudging and unconcerned as to whatever you observe. Next, we'll do some what we call the main breathing. As the main breathing, because it really helps to settle our mind into quietness, and it can be done every day at any point in the day. We try to do at least 12 cycles to gain the benefit, but you do it, as much as you can, and you can start with 12, but then gradually increase once you feel comfortable. So for this one, we'll do 3, 12, 6. Rhythm. So inhale for a count of 3, and we hold the breath for a count of 12. Exhale for a count of 6. For the breath retention, during the breath retention, we're applying a throat and a root lock. So the root lock, we're contracting the root muscles. Imagine you're engaging the buttocks, and you're pulling the perineum muscles up towards the navel, and pressing against the back wall of the body. So you feel a tightening there, and you're feeling that the pelvic floor is lifted. For the throat lock, through the inhale, you expand and lift the chest, and you bring your chin down on your chest. The reason why you bring your chest up is so that when you bend your chin down onto your chest, you don't hunch your back. You want to try to keep your back as straight as possible. And then you bring your tongue to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth to seal off that lock. The attention's at the space between the eyebrows. Your attention's like a magnet. You try to draw all the attention there. And then you're inhaling through the active side, which I'll demonstrate in a second. Hold the breath, close both sides of the nose. Exhale through the less active. Inhale through the less active. Hold the breath again, apply the locks, third eye attention. Exhale out through the active side again. That's one cycle. Now to find the active nostril, you breathe in and out through one nostril first by closing off the other one, and then you repeat on the other side, and whichever side seems more open, they actually switch every 2 hours. Whichever side is more open is your active side. If they feel exactly the same, you default to your left side. So for the hands, index finger and thumb connected on the left hand, Jnana Mudra. The unity, this represents the state of Turiya, the unity of the universal soul with the individual soul. The other three fingers represent the three states, the universe, the creation, the preservation, and the destruction. Also the three deities, which represent the Brahma, creator, Vishnu, preserver, Shiva, the destroyer. I think there's another word for the Shiva, but I can't think of it right now. I apologize. But in any case, those are the three fingers on the left knee. They stay there the whole time. The other hand, Vishnu Mudra, second and third fingers fold down towards the palm. As soon as you turn the palm towards you, it's no longer Vishnu Mudra. It's the mudra that we use for pranayama. The thumb, the right thumb for the right nostril, the right ring finger for the left nostril. Only use those two fingers to control the passage of those two central psychic channels, okay, that run through the nose. And so I'll just demonstrate, and so I'll talk you through the first few, and then we'll leave you to do a few rounds on your own. So find the active nostril first. Close off the right side with the right thumb. Inhale through the left side, in and out. And then do the same on the other side. Close off the left nostril with the right ring finger. I think my right side is a more active side, so I'll demonstrate with that side. So when you're watching me, just keep that in mind, especially if your active side happens to be your left side. Okay, so let's begin. Sit up tall and straight. Left hand again, locked in Jnana Mudra. Breathe out completely. Empty your lungs. Then close off the less active side. Inhale through the active. 2, 3, hold the breath, third eye attention, and the throat in a root lock. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the less active side, release the locks. 2, 3, 4. Completely empty by the 8th count. Is what 6 count. Inhale through the less active side. 2, 3, hold the breath again. Throat lock, root lock, all the attention at the space between the eyebrows. 4, 5, chest high, remember. 7, 8, engaged buttocks. 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the active side, that's one cycle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale through the active side. Lift the chest. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Everything stops. All the fluctuations of the mind, the movement of the body, and the emotions. 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the less active side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale through the less active side. 3, hold the breath. Everything again stops as though it was frozen. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the active side. 2, 3, completely empty, steadily and evenly. 4, 5, 6. Inhale through the active side. 3, hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the less active side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale through the less active side. Fill up completely. Raise the chest. Hold the breath. Try to keep the face calm even though the body is feeling tension in the throat and the root. Exhale through the active side. 3, relax the locks. 4, 5, 6. Inhale. Hold for 12. exhale through the less active side for 6. Inhale for 3. Hold. Keep being a witness, watching everything without judgment, without concern, what you deserve. Exhale through the active side for 6. Continue on your own for a few cycles. Even if your mind starts to wander, be unconcerned. Just pull your mind back to what is going on here and now. You have to keep on practicing to control the mind, to exercise control of the vital force, otherwise it will control you. Through the practice, we gain self-control in all respects, physical, mental, emotional. And spiritually, we become more evolved. Next time you breathe out of your active side, conclude, take your time, don't shortchange the cycle. Whenever you're done, just sit with both hands in Jnana Mudra, sitting tall and supreme. Notice the state of the mind again, hopefully feeling more open, more receptive. Feel as though your mind space was as open as the sky above, which seems as limitless as you can imagine, and going far beyond that sky you see into the universe beyond it. Being open and receptive to all ideas, for we need an open mind in order to really understand the vastness and the greatness and the infiniteness of God's grace and love and compassion and wisdom, all that we need to find ourselves in that same state. Freedom from all suffering and pain happens when we have all the knowledge and feel the heart as open and wide as that expansive mind as well. Picture that in the same way, it's limitless as that sky, or maybe the ocean, which is as deep and as stretched as far as we can see. A great, way big open space that It's large enough to fill all beings, be filled with all beings. Hold all beings in that space, enough room for all, leaving out nobody. For again, we are all one and the same, all one with God, no separation. And through this practice, we cultivate that love towards all, unconditional love, boundless compassion. Hold all beings in your heart equally. Let's begin the practice and manifest that in a physical way through our offering of the postures. Let's stand. So we're going to start off with charging breathing to charge up the body to make it fully energized. Stand with your feet about 10 inches apart and raise your arms above the head, palms facing in. From the soles of the feet, inhale right up through the body, right to the fingertips. Feel your energy rising right up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding all at the fingertips, hold the breath and the attention there. 5, 6. Exhale all the way back down to the soles of the feet. 2, 3, 4. Watch your breath moving through the body. 6, 7, 8. Inhale again. Imagine you're pulling your energy right up to the fingertips. Imagine your attention is attracting it there. 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold it at the fingertips. Hold the breath again there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale all the way back down to the soles of the feet. 2, 3, 4. Feel the earth's charge flashing right down. 6, 7, 8. Last time, inhale, bring your energy right up. 2, 3, 4. Feeling it charge up the body. 6, 7, 8. Holding it at the fingertips, hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale down. 2, 3, 4. Feel fully charged as the earth's energy just completes its course. Bring your arms down now. And we'll continue with some exercise to prepare the body for the practice. So move in a way that, move with grace and power, move in a way that is pleasant to watch. Imagine you're the witness watching the body moving all by itself. So now start to swing from side to side. Feel as though the arms are heavy ropes hitting the body any which way. Working the waist with this twist. And then start to move the shoulders faster. Just be nice and loose. Feel as though the arms are dead, just hitting the body every which way. Allow the head to just fly in all the directions. So we're just trying through these warm-ups. Move the joints to keep them in radiant health. And then we're going to slow it down now. Bring hands on the hips and just start to circle the head. To loosen up the neck, shoulders to the ears, chin to the chest, back of the head to the top of the back. And then circle the head in the other direction. Feels the head very heavy. It's rolling around its joint. Let's try to see the floor in all the directions as the head moves around in circles. Now from here, if you have a weak shoulder or an injured shoulder or any kind of it's compromised anyway, you can use your left hand to support the shoulder. We're just going to circle the right arm. So right arm forward for 4, and then switch directions. Feel as though you're about to prepare to throw a ball, and then go in the other direction again, and back. Feel as though you had a weight in your right hand, and then forward again, and back for 4 turns. Other arm, you can bring the right foot forward a little bit for balance. Left arm forward and back and forward again and back, forward and back, and release. Now bring your arms up over the head. Take hold of the opposite elbows and then just bend from side to side. Try not to make wrinkles in the waist area, the underside of the body. And then up and the other way. And come back to the center. Start to make little circles, the head and shoulders mostly. And then start to bring a little bit more movement into the by bringing the upper chest and the upper back and the chest into the movement. And then the whole torso circles down. Hinge at the hips and swing all the way down according to your comfort level, as always. And coming up, and then go the opposite direction. Little circles to start. Gradually getting bigger. And maybe the whole torso circles. Remember that how you're feeling is to an extent affecting everybody. So if you practice in a way that is painful, that brings about pain for you, imagine that it's also bringing pain to others. And we don't want to hurt the Lord, especially we don't want to hurt God or anybody. So practice in a mindful, reverent way. So from here, just start to shake your wrists. Move your fingers very, very rapidly. You can spin your hands around, up and down like the wings of a hummingbird. And then release. So now here we're going to take the arms out to the sides and we're going to swing the right leg back and forth. So if you're having trouble balancing, you can always place your hand. I happen to have a bicycle nearby, but if you have a wall or a chair, you can do that. Just swing the right leg back and forth. Lean forward a little bit so your knee hits the shoulder. Throw your leg back and head back again. Be careful if your joints, if you're very tight. Just be mindful. Good. Now the other leg. Now we're going to lift the arms up, press the palms up towards the sky. Inhale, lift up off the heels and back down on the heels. Inhale, press forward with your toes. Exhale, back down. Rise up, hold the navel, lengthen, and come back down. And up and down. This time when you come up, stay up. Rise up taller. Get long in the side body, long in the legs. Imagine trying to push the ceiling right through the roof. And lower down. Release the arms. Okay, so now let's come to the front of the mat for Surya Namaskara. Hands in front of the heart. Remember to make this practice an offering. Offer up all the fruits of the practice. Imagine going out to all beings everywhere. So imagine this as your divine duty to all beings. So close your eyes for a moment. Just visualize the sun shining down on you, being infused by that light and a warmth which represents the wisdom and the love of God. extend your love and your light, your wisdom to all beings everywhere. So just imagine moving all together as one, like a school of fish. Surya Namaskar. Raise your arms up over the head. Arch back as you feel fit. Bring your hands down to the ground. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Bring your hands on the ground. Right foot back. Lower the knee down. Sink down to the seat. Lift the head. Come back into high plank. Knees down. Bring the seat all the way back behind your heels. Now glide forward between the arms. Rise up gracefully. Head back. And then come all the way back. Once again, the seat behind the heels. Glide forward. Brush your nose to the ground as you come forward. And come up into your Cobra, Bhujangasana. One last time, bring the seat all the way back behind the heels, and then glide forward. Pull through your arms to propel yourself with more power and ease. Lift the seat up and back, melt the heart, downward facing dog. Then the right foot steps forward to the hands. If that was difficult, you can also raise the knee. If the foot doesn't make it all the way, just use your hand to assist the foot forward. Drop your seat forward, push the seat in. Then bring the feet together, chest on the thighs, head down. Bend your knees again as much as you need to. And then come all the way up. Rise up tall, hands back to the heart. Don't worry about the breath, just move in a way that feels natural, that allows the breath to remain steady and even. The breath will figure it out and deliver ease and fluidity of movement. Left foot back, sink down to the seat. Into the plank, the knees down, the seat all the way back. Glide again between your arms, coming up gracefully into the Cobra. Take the seat all the way back. Once again, come forward into your Cobra. Chest open, throat open, to keep the passage always free. So the breath can always run through your body easily. Into your Cobra one last time. Roll over your toes. Adho Mukha Savasana. Allow the heart to fall between your shoulder blades. Left foot steps forward to the hands. Bring the feet back together. Uttanasana. Bow down as though in humbleness. Come all the way up to standing. Reach up and back. Hands back to the heart. Raise your arms, hips forward. Go all the way down, a gesture of humility. Right foot back into a lunge. Into the plank. Lower down, Ashtanga Namaskara, knees, chest, forehead down. Right away, this time into your Cobra. And back into downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward to the hands, sink down to the seat. Place the feet quietly, no big heavy thuds. No loud movements, no jarring movements or jerks. Come up and back. Practice in a way that is pleasant to the observer who's watching, hence the heart. Come up again. Come forward and down. At the same time, imagine the witness who's watching. Left foot back is God, who sees everything with unconditional love and non-judgment. Knees, chest, and forehead down. Come forward into the Cobra. Back into downward facing dog. All the more reason to make it the best offering that you can. Left foot forward. Feet together. All beings, all deserving of the best that you have. Reach up and back. Hands back to the heart. Let's add on just trying to cultivate our creativity through beautiful forms. Right foot back, watch your body moving. Raise your arms up, lift the seat. Exhale, sink the seat forward. And stretch back, allow the arms to circle down. Inhale, come up again, tuck the tail. And as you come forward, lean back away from the leg, open up. Pull the body by the hips. One more time. Inhale, come up. Exhale, circle the arms down, allow the head to fall back. And come back into high plank. Lower down, Ashtanga Namaskara. And glide right through into the Cobra. Make as though you're doing a divine dance of devotion. Reflect devotion in all your movements, unconditional love. Then a right foot steps forward to the hands. Lower the knees, sink down to the seat. Inhale, raise the seat. Lift the arms. Exhale, tuck the tail under. And go back, allow the head to fall back. Inhale, come up again. And push the heart forward, allow the head to fall back. Tap into consciousness of the movement. Open yourself up to divine grace. Allow the arms to come down as you open yourself up. Showing full devotion, bring the feet together, chest on the sides, head down. In a gesture of humbleness, humility, always remaining in the mindset of the servant. Reach the arms up and back. Bring the hands back home to the heart. Up again, arms over the head. Come down. Uttanasana. And the left foot back. Lower seat down. Inhale, rise up again. Lift the arms, turn to the right. Circle the arms down. Inhale again, pull the arms up. Exhale, turn to the right. Allow the arms to float down. Last time, inhale, sweep the arms up, tuck the tail, and bring your seat forward and open up to the right. Turn forward, come back into high plank. Ashtanga Namaskar, knees, chest, forehead down. Glide right through into the Cobra, shoulders back. Back of the neck, make sure you don't lose your neck between your shoulders and your ears. Back into downward facing dog. And then bring the left foot forward, lower the knees, sink down to the seat. Raise the arms up over the head. Turn to your left, circle the arms down. Again, bring the arms up. Exhale, circle down. One last time, inhale, come up. Down, feel as though you're doing a dance, seamless transitions. Bring the body down onto your legs, Uttanasana. Come all the way up. Reach up and back. Bring the hands home to the heart. Always come back to the source of divine love. Reach the arms up, hips forward. And come down. From here, bring your chest on your sides, join hands behind the back. Telescope the chest further forward towards the knees. Exhale, push the body into your legs. Send the top head towards the ground, the forehead to the shins, arms over the head. A gesture of abject surrender. And bring your hands down. Right foot back, lower the knee down, sink down to the seat. Kapyasana, bring your arms up over the head. Reach the arms back over the head. Stretch the body back at the hips. And then come down with the hands. Now press into your hands. Swing the right leg all the way up and back, three-legged dog. Come forward into high plank, shoulders over the fingertips, so that when you come down with control. Squeeze the elbows towards the body. Try to bring your chest down first. You can always roll your knee down at the same time. The toes come back down together on the ground. Come up into your Cobra. All the way back into downward facing dog. Modify as you need to make the practice accessible. Right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Bring your shoulders forward so that you can land the foot with control, not a big heavy thud on the ground again. Move silently, move gracefully. Seats low, bring your arms up over the head, Kapyasana. Pull the arms way over your head, back behind you, like a crescent moon shape. Bring the hands down, slide your left foot into meet, right. Bend your knees, belly on the thighs, join the hands. Uttanasana, plunge your head down. Forehead to the shins if your legs happen to straighten all the way. Release the arms, come all the way up. If they don't straighten, don't worry about it. Again, do your best. It's the effort that's most important. Hands to the heart. Again, pull the arms up. Go down, bow down, fold the body in half. Chest on the thighs, join the hands, extend to the crown. Push the body into your legs to get the legs perhaps a little bit straighter. Feel a stretch in the backs of the legs. Forehead to the shins if your seat is over the heels. Release the hands, left foot back. Lower the knee down, sink down to the seat. Arms up over the head, arch back, crescent moon. Bring the hands down, plant your hands, swing the right leg up. Feel as though you're a shapeshifter, moving through all the forms gracefully, effortlessly. One form merging into the other. Chest, your shoulders over the fingertips, lower down the chest, lower the knee down again at the same time if you need to. Right through into the Cobra. Back into downward facing dog. Left foot up, try to see yourself in all the forms. Try to see God in all the forms. Left foot down, lower the seat, lower the knee. Arms up over the head, reach back. And then bring the hands back down. The feet come together, chest on the thighs. Join the hands again. Uttanasana. Straighten the legs if you can and bring your forehead to the shins. Or again, keep just your belly to thighs and bend your knees as much as you need to. And release. Bring your arms up over the head. Reach up and back. Bring the hands back to the heart. One more variation. Arms up over the head. Go down. Now plant your hands, lift head and chest. Bend your elbows and drop back into chaturanga, hopping or walking. You can also come right down onto the belly. And then lift up into Cobra. If you can, you could have swung right up. Keep your knees and hips up off the ground. Now here, just pulse a little bit. Try to get your chest forward, your head back, your nose up. Feel like a dog howling at the moon. Try to imitate the form. As Dharmaji says, you have to learn to copy the teacher mentally, physically, and even spiritually. In other words, find God in the form. Roll over your toes, back into downward facing dog now. Now stretch the back like a dog stretches its back. Try to get your chest down towards the ground. Maybe you can strike the forehead on the ground, maybe eventually the chin. Try not to bend the arms too much. Keep them straight and long from the fingertips to the feet. And now lift the heels, bend the knees up between your hands. Bring the feet forward, hopping or walking. Pull the body down onto your legs. Come right up to standing. Salute. Hands back to the heart. One more. Raise your arms up over the head. Reach up and go down. Gracefully. Lift the head and chest. Press into your hands. Bend your elbows again and come back softly. No big, hard, jarring landings into upward facing dog. Now this time, let's move between the two forms seamlessly. Round your back and then melt your heart back into downward facing dog. Roll over your toes, come forward, and then right back, hips between your hands, shoulders back, upward facing dog. Tuck the chin, round the back, back into downward facing dog, melt the heart. One more time, roll forward over your toes. Press into the mat firmly with your hands. Uncoil. Arching, rounding, and then back to arching again. Soften the line of the back. Now lift the heels, bend the knees up between your hands. Bring your feet very softly forward, hopping or walking. Uttanasana. Come right up to standing. Reach up and back. Create space. Expand. Approach your true nature, which is formless, which is infinite. Hands back to the heart. Take pause here for a moment. From the heart, inhale up to the space between the eyebrows. Exhale back down to the heart. Again, from the heart, inhale up to the space between the eyebrows. Exhale back down to the heart. Connect body, mind, and spirit together so all actions, thoughts, and words are always done with the best of intentions, with love. Center of everything, and release. Okay, so now let's try some standing poses here. So stand first, coming into ballet pose, standing on your left foot first. So take a point of focus in front, maybe on the floor. Something that doesn't move is always helpful for keeping a balance. Now you try to hold the heel from the inside, the thumb behind the heel, and raise the leg and the arm at the same time. If you're having trouble balancing, you can lean against the wall if you like. Now, depending on flexibility, to keep your legs straight and your toes on the same lines of fingertips, your arms might be at the height of the shoulders, or if you're more flexible, you might be able to bring your leg right up towards the shoulder. Lean towards the left so you can keep your same height of the fingers with the toes. Be very flexible. You can try to take your hand underneath the heel, reach across with your left hand over your foot, across the inside of the foot, come into this expression of the pose. If you're having more trouble, you can also, just hold on here and just do what you can. Okay, so just try your best. It's the effort that's most important. Now from here, coming to Bird of Paradise, for those who can, you take your shoulder in front of your leg, you bend forward a little bit, you join your hands behind your back, and then from here, you press your knee up, and you bring your leg up. If this is not doable, you can take your foot with your lean forward, bring your arm around the outside of the knee, outside the leg, and hold it like this. Okay, so this is another option. And release, come down. So just cultivate your creativity by finding any way that you can approximate the pose. Now try with the other foot down, the right foot down, and bring your left foot up. Be magnificent like a dancer. And like a dancer, we try to assume all the rules, play all the rules. You have to pass through all the forms in order to be able to feel one with them. Again, you can try the different variations. If you're flexible, you can take this form here. Or again, you can just hold underneath your legs, or whatever you can do. Now from here, Bird of Paradise, or the modification, lean forward, wrap your arm around the front of the leg and around the outside. You don't even have to bind your hands if you can't reach. You can just bring your hand to the waist or whatever, or Bird of Paradise. You want to keep your shoulder close to the knee, underneath the knee. Bind your hands, more flexible. You can hold your forearms and try to get your legs straight. Lean to the right a little bit to get your legs straight up. And release. Bring your foot down. Now come to the back end of the mat. Start off with balancing T. Take your left wrist to your right hand. Walk your left foot forward. Come down. Make the letter T with your body. Your head hovering about the height of hips. Your foot at the same line with your head. Try to picture what you look like in your body, in your imagination. If you're having trouble keeping your arms behind, you can take them out to the side, like an airplane. Just again, try to copy the form every which way. Now from here you can come down like an eagle, sweeping down from a great height. If you can, bend your knee a little bit and then sweep your wings out to the side. Those you want, try toppling tree. You can interlace your fingers if your hands are joined. You just open up the palms and you try to pull your hands over your shoulders. Get your right leg up as high as you can. Curve your spine by bringing your chest and your head forward, forward a little bit. Break the pose, come back. Try it again on the other side. If you fall out of the pose, just try again. Again, just keep on practicing with angry determination. The right hand holds the left hand holds the right wrist, and then bring the right foot forward. Hinge about the level of the hips. You can always bring your fingertips down to the ground first to settle into the pose, and then move into the pose. Through experimentation, through constant practice, you learn your own tricks to find your way into the poses more easily. Again, you can take your arms out to the side if that was easier for you. And from there, you can even move into gliding eagle. Imagine you're a great bird swooping down from a great height at great speed. Visualize that great eagle in your mind and just try to make your body look like that's what you see. Or toppling tree. So I leave the options open for you to explore. Bring the left toes up a little higher, point the toes to make it pretty. we're going to try the postures. So we're going to come to the middle of the mat here, looking out the long edge of the mat. So when you go to your left, make sure you can see the camera. If not, just jump around the other way. Okay, so I'm just going to fix the mat. It's a little bit misaligned. All right, so now we're going to bring your fingertips in line with one another, and then jump your feet apart like a big star. Turn to your left now. Sink down as low as you can, your knees over the toes. Now come into consciousness of a warrior, strong, mighty, determined, the leader. Reach forward a little bit. Give a sense of direction and purpose. Then from here, swing the right arm up to meet the left. Bring your arms up over the head. Show devotion to your people through this pose. If you're having trouble turning your hip all the way, you can lift your back heel up. This will help to turn hip a little bit more. Now from here, press into the front foot, engage your leg, and come all the way up. Straighten the front leg. Take your hands down. You can either press them into your seat, push into your seat, pull down at the same time, elbows back, or if you can, join your hands and press them against the inside of the right thigh. Lift the chest, bring the head back. Keep your legs strong, engaged. Inhale, come back up. And then from here, bend into the front knee, sink down to the seat. Humble warrior. So now you're going to go down, dive down. Make sure you go to the right a little bit so your knee doesn't end up landing, your shoulder doesn't end up landing on your knee. Bring your arms over the head. Express humility through this pose, humble warrior. If this is too much to sustain, you can lower your knee down. Again, do what you need to make the pose inviting to you. Pull the arms way over your head. Break the pose, bring the hands back down, lift the head and chest. You just need to move your left foot out to your left edge of the mat more, flatten out the toes and just lower the knee. Now here, just fall to the right. So then the right front of the hip anchors down, the right forearm anchors down perhaps as well. Roll to your left forearm comes down. Now, you want to make sure your knee's not falling away to the outside. So move the foot out as much as you need to, so keep your knee and your heel in line. The back knee with the heel. And from here, like you're doing a sphinx, anchor down through the lower body from the hips all the way down to the toes. And just see if you can melt your chest down in between your arms. If you're getting low, you can bring lower down, you can bring your elbow to the outside of the foot. Imagine the gentle hand of God just pressing down gently on the back of your heart to encourage you to come down and to sink. Feel heavy through the hips, the rest of the body might follow. Now if you're very flexible, you're on the ground with your chest, you can take your arm around the front of the foot, around the outside, underneath the knee, and join your hands over the back. Your left hand takes hold of the right wrist, your left shoulder is pretty much right beside the big toe or on the big toe. Fix your gaze like a lizard. If you can't make it down on the floor, you just stay on your hands. Again, do according to your condition. And then make your way back up and turn this way again so you can see. Now you want to sink your seat forward, your knee again over your toes. If your knees allow for it, otherwise just go back over so your knees over the front of the foot. From here, left hand to your left knee and allow the right hand to slide towards the back foot. Curve your body, lengthen your side body. You can stay like this the whole time. If you want, you can move into other positions here. So some of you might know swan. You can just bring the right foot up to the shoulder. Keep the foot close to the shoulder until you can get your fingers close to your ears. So your foot's in the crook of the arm, and then the left hand comes around, finds the fingers easily, and then you push the foot away. Or another nice one, turn forward, throw the left arm back, see if you can catch the inside of the leg. Now if you move your hands so your thumbs are pressing to the back of the knee, and you wrap your hands around just around the knee, close to around the shin. If you bring your head back, you might be able to guide your foot right to the head. You have to keep your seat low to keep your balance. If you can't bring your leg up, you can do regular Pindasana. Bring your arms up, rock your shoulders back, lean away from the leg. Eventually you can get that nice crescent shape, moon shape. Keep your arms straight. Think of the shape of a crescent moon and try to realize it with your body the best you can. Break the pose, bring the hands back up. Now from here, press into your fingertips, hinge your hips back so that they're over the back knee. Lift your toes, and from here, sink your body down on the front leg. Ardha Hanumanasana. Your shoulders right beside the knee. Your toes are lifted. The weight of the body will help to release the back and the leg muscles a little bit and the hamstrings. You want to stay here, you stay here. If you want to progress, press into your fingertips, bring your hips forward, bend the toes under. And here you can start to slide your left foot forward. If you slide it right off the mat, you might have more success at getting your leg further. And then just, if it doesn't come all the way down, then again, don't worry. Just pulse up and down in a way that's mindful. It doesn't bring you into a place of pain or anxiety again. If you make it all the way down into Hanumanasana, you might be able to bring your arms up. I like crossing the wrists. You don't have to do that. But most important, embody the spirit of Hanuman. The courage, the devotion, and most of all, faith. Anything is possible. Think of the great feats that Hanuman did. He jumped over the whole island of Sri Lanka just to rescue his master's wife. Anything's possible through the observance of the precepts, ethical rules, yama and yama, and a little bit of concentration. Break the pose. Now press into your fingertips, slide your left foot back. So it's underneath the knee, come upright, the legs look like a box, bend the toes under the back foot. From here, I'm going to do it this way. Raise your right arm up, angle the toe of the knee towards the right, allow the arm to sit on the outside of the leg. Bring your hands together in prayer or fists, left fist and right hand, push down at your hand, raise the body up so the belly's higher than the thigh. And keep pushing against the outside of the knee. Keep pushing your center chest towards your thumbs. Try to get your chest to meet the thumbs. Left shoulder rolls back. Those you have the ability, if you want to take a bind, move your seat back a little bit. Do it again in another direction. Nose to your elbow is in the space below the knee. Move your seat back to allow your arm a little bit more space to scooch the arm underneath the leg. Use your left hand to guide. Then left arm goes over the back. Catch it with your other hand. Either fingers lock together or take hold of the wrist. And if you can, bring the left knee up off the ground. So the right knee. Bring the left shoulder all the way back. Look the face. Turn the chest and face up. Good. Now make sure your knee doesn't sag or the seat sag. Keep the back leg strong. Change the position again. Now from here, the option to come into balance pose. This one's a little bit tricky. For advanced practitioners, if you want, bring the right foot in. Make sure your hip is over the heel. Keep your head close to the knee, height of the knee. Take half breath in and raise the right leg up. If that's too much to do with the bind, just bring the right hand down underneath the shoulder, raise the right leg up, and then bring the left arm up. Or keep it on your seat, whatever you like. Turn your chest to your left. bring the right foot back down. Keep your hand where it is, feels down on the ground. Otherwise, keep it a little bit from the shoulder, turn to your left. Vasisthasana. If you cross the left foot in front of the other one, this is a nice way to stay steady, keep your hips up. Want to move into other forms? Go ahead. Some of you know how to do. Slide your left toes back, spin on your hand, come into wild thing, hips and chest facing up. Move your right foot in a little bit so your base is shorter, so your hips are higher. This gives you your steadiness. And you can get the left toes flat on the ground. You bring your left knee up, your right toes flat on the ground, your left knee up, maybe the foot. Alternatively, you can come into Urdhva Spin on your hand, and your feet and your hands land in the same line. Okay. And back into downward facing dog. From here, raise the left leg up. You have the option here of coming onto your forearms and coming into forearm stand. If you want to come into play around, come into handstand, you can. Press off the foot and fly up a few times. Just keep trying. Okay, eventually you might be able to come up. Or do it from your forearms, like I said. If it's easy for you, it's easier to bend your legs. Keep your legs close to the body so that even if you fall, you land, your feet are close to the ground so you land more easily. Okay? Or you just keep your foot on the ground, it's all good. So from here, land your right foot back down and swing the left foot between the hands. Spin towards the long edge of the mat. Come all the way up. We're going to go to the right this time, so if you're facing the wrong way when you go into the right, just spin around 180 degrees. Come into your warrior two. Come forward a little bit. Make sure your knee doesn't pop in. Press it out. Keep strong through the back leg. Get a sense that you're moving forward always towards self-realization, towards whatever your goal is. Take your left hand up to meet the right. Virabhadrasana 1. Straight line from the base of the spine right up to the fingertips. So you don't have to arch back. Okay, so just straight line, straight up. Like the point of a sword. Gaze up at the tip. From here, press into the front foot. Keep your back leg strong. And from here, you can take your hands down to your seat or your hands join together and press them against the inside of the left thigh, close to your seat. Bring your head back, again, according to your comfort levels. You can just lift your chest a little bit and look up. You don't have to bend back. Be very careful, as always, especially if you have low blood pressure. Move slowly, mindfully. Then press into your back foot. Keep the back leg strong to come up. Bend into the front knee. Sink down to the seat. Go to your left a little bit when you're coming down into your humble warrior. So your shoulder slides the inside of the leg. Arms come over your head. Express humility. Surrender. Then release. Bring your hands down on the ground. And from here, just lower the knee down, flatten out the toes, and just fall to your left. And this might allow your forearm to come down. Of course, if it's too much, you stay on your hands. And you just keep on sinking through the hips like you're doing a Cobra. So it's the same type of motion. Move the right foot out a little bit more so it stays in line with the back knee stays in line with the heel. And eventually, maybe, you'll be able to get, if you're on forearm, you can roll towards the right so you can get the right forearm down. Even move to the outside of the foot if you're getting close. Again, you just try to imagine the hand of God encouraging you to come down lower. encouraging me to go lower and deeper. Just use whatever visualization work to help you to go deeper into the pose. And be like a lizard. Assume its shape. Imagine you're sunning yourself on a warm earth. Not a care in the world. Take a bite if you like. If you know that form. Not important, as Dharmaji says. Just do your best. Find where you find ease in the pose, where you can bring your mind into stillness. If you're constantly fighting a pose in your mind, then you won't have any ability to meditate, of course. So come back up. And again, bring the right hand to the right knee, allow the left hand to slide back towards the back foot. You can always stay there. Move into your swan. You want to lean towards the foot so you can get the foot close to the shoulder. If you get your fingers close to the ear, when the other hands come around, you'll find the hand more easily. And then you just try to extend your arms by pushing the foot back into the crook of the arm. So you don't have those big sharp lines, angles. Think of a swan's neck curve, smooth curve. Or again, you can get your hand to the knee, throw your right arm back, lean back a little bit first, and then sink your seat forward. And if you press your thumb into the back of the knee and hold the knee from the outsides, you might be able to guide your foot right to your head. If your head finds the foot easily, your hip is forward, you might be able to take your arms up. So all these progressions. Or just keep your leg down and do the regular Kapiyasana to whatever extent you can. Push your chest forward, arms back, wiggle your shoulders. Eventually when you look back, maybe your index fingers go over the back toe. Now break the pose, bring hands back on the front knee, push in the front knee and come up. Come more upright. Actually, you bring your toes up, your hip back over the back knee. Sink your body onto your front leg. Your attention is like a magnet. It brings all the prana there, so you can imagine in all those areas you're tight, you bring your prana there to release it. That's where the prana will go. You either stay here or lift back up, bring your seat forward, bend the toes under, and start to slide the right foot forward. Do this again in a mindful way. Don't overstretch. Just pulse up and down. If you can go all the way down, and go ahead and embody all the virtues of Hanuman. The embodiment of devotion and courage and faith. Pull the body back, the hips. Imagine you're flying over the island of Sri Lanka. Take that proverbial leap of faith in all that you do. Keep imagining yourself doing great feats, and maybe one day you'll realize them. Coming back up. Bring your fingertips down, press into your fingertips, lean forward. And slide the right foot back. Coming upright, your legs again form a box. Left arm up, go to the right. Parivrita Parsvakonasana. Press right hand to the bottom hand, lift the belly up higher than the thigh. Spin your chest all the way around. Try to get your right shoulder in line with your left, so it looks like you're lying in the back. If this was too much, you can always stay upright. So press your hand into your seat or your hip. Left hand stays on the outside of the knee, and you just stay upright, shoulders over the hips. Turn to the right. Okay, so that's an option. You want to go further, of course, go ahead. Take your bind. Seasoned practitioners know already think how to get into this, go ahead. Just go to the edge of your potential every time. You have to keep going to the edge every time in order to surpass it. This is how you make progress. If you don't have constant practice, however, you don't make progress and you lose the enthusiasm. So keep on doing it every day. Now from here, look down. Left foot comes in a little bit closer, as much as you need to, so the right hip is over the right heel. Take a half breath in to lighten, and see if you can raise the left leg up. Otherwise, you can't take the bind. Left hand in front, underneath the shoulder, raise the left leg up, and turn to the right. Right shoulder goes back over the top of the left, and then raise your arm up if you can. Break the pose. Bring the left foot down. Left hand slides in front, a little bit from the shoulder, and spin to the right. Vasisthasana. Hips forward. Feel as though you're being blown from behind like a kite. You need to modify the knee down. Want to go further? Go ahead. Slide the right toes back. Slide your left foot in as well. To shorten your base, you want to have the left foot flat on the ground, especially taking your advanced variations. Your hips stay high, make sure you don't drop into your shoulder, so make sure you don't collapse here. Keep the arm extended. And then you'll be able to take your right knee up more easily with steadiness if your foot and your head are firmly grounded. Maybe take the foot, if you have it, the stretch and the flexibility. Or alternatively, spin on your hands, and then you might be able to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Lift up through the hips. Now return, spin back onto your hand, the other way, back into downward facing dog. Raise the right leg up. You can stay here in your three-legged dog, try to get your head to the ground. If you want, you can again press up into handstand if you like. So just fly up, take a half breath in. And then see if you can find your balance here. For more advanced, you can try different variations. Or you can come down onto your forearms and try it. So just play around here. If you're doing forearm balance, make sure your elbows aren't too wide apart. Otherwise, it just keeps slipping down. You want to have your elbows a little bit closer than your shoulders. Okay? Keep one leg forward, one leg back. Keep your feet close. Your knees very bent. Feet flex to keep your muscles engaged. Look beyond your fingertips. And then just your left foot down. Come back into three-legged dog. And swing the right foot forward between your hands. Spin towards the long edge of the mat. Arms out to the side. Come all the way up. Good. And jump your feet. Your arms together by the sides of the body. Stand tall like a mountain. Formidable, unshakable, and immovable in your devotion to the practice. Breathe in. All the way up from the base of the spine, the base of the mountain, to the summit, the crown. Exhale back down to the base. Remain unshakable, unmovable in your devotion. Now from here, come down. Shilshasana, headstand. If you know how to get into headstand, go ahead. Take whatever variation you like. You can take a lotus once you're up there if you have a lotus. And once you arrive, leave the body alone. Watch the body in your mind. Bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows. Other options, if you're feeling very uneasy to come away from the ground too much in your inversion, you just take your forehead in front of your knees and lift your seat up. Your hips over the knees. If you feel too much pressure on the back of the neck, you just move your head forward. And come on to top of the head again. You bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows. Keep your concentration there. Try again to make your mind one pointed. Other options, teddy bear. Bring your hands, fingertips in line with your knees. Your top of the head down. Your arms should be like right angles. They should not be beside your head. It's much more difficult to balance that way. So bring your seat up, walk your feet forward so your seat feels like it's over your shoulders. And just rest just underneath the knees against the elbows. Press into your hands. Take a half breath in and maybe flick your toes away from the earth. Bingo, you're in a started headstand. Eventually, if you feel the confidence, you can bring your toes up higher. Move your knees a little bit further in towards your shoulders onto your upper arms. If that's too much pressure on your head, because there's not much surface area that you're bouncing on, you come onto your forearms. If your elbows are underneath the shoulders, make sure you can hold them elbows easily and don't move them. Just bring your hands forward, interlace them, and then bring your palm between your hands. So your hands are like a helmet, wrapping around the back of the head. Walk your feet towards your elbows. You can just pulse up and down, up off your heels. Both feet at the same time, just like that. When your heels come up, your hips come over your shoulders and elbows. If you're more flexible, then eventually you can bring your thighs to your body. And this will help also to keep yourself in balance. Just flick your toes away from the ground again on the foot that's on the ground if you have one foot behind. Okay, so you can keep both feet again on the ground at the same time. Or bring one leg back. Keep the foot hanging close to your seat, like a fruit hanging from a tree. Flex your toes. Bend your toes back. Don't point the toes. Bend your toes back. This helps to keep your balance more easily, at least when you start. And then you can just play hot potato with your toes on the ground. Back and forth. Or eventually, if you push through the back foot continuously, your hips come over your shoulders, and your feet will be at the same height as your hips. So always working progressively. You can do this on the wall too. Imagine I'm facing the wall, and then you place yourself so you can bend your leg and still have your foot on the wall. If you're too far, it's too much of a reach, and you're always struggling to keep your balance. So keep yourself closer to the wall for the time being. Pull your toes away. You can always put your toes back on the wall when you're feeling unsteady. Those you have a lotus who are professionals, as Sri Dharma Mittra says, you can bring your feet into lotus, and this makes your mind more one-pointed. Keep on trying to merge with God. Once you find the form and you find steadiness, take your attention back to the space between your eyebrows. Rest your mind on that space, the seat of divine perception. It's all about trying to see God in all the forms. That's what it comes down to. Eventually, all the forms feel the same. You can try different variations you like. You can move your legs around. Always trying to see yourself in your mind. One finger if you like, of one hand. So you can come up off the hand all entirely. Whatever you like to do, okay? Just for a minute or so. to the index finger of just both hands. Bring your seat back. Touching no hands. So again, do whatever you like. And then start to make your way down gently with control. Always moving away again as pleasant to watch. Once you are down, child's pose, breathe in. Breathe out, soften. Now roll up, find your way onto your back, shoulder stand. So you can come into shoulder stand that way. Easiest way is to roll onto your back, send your arms, send your feet over your head. Make sure you can join your hands together so your arms come fully behind your back and place your hands on the mid-back. Bring your legs up one or both at the same time. Your toes in line with your chin. Again, if you have lotus, make your way into lotus. If you're right on the tips of your shoulders, you might be able to bring your hands to your thighs. Whether your legs are straight or in lotus, you can do this. Make sure you're on the very tips of your shoulders, your feet are a little bit over your head. Okay, if it's too much, you can stay with your knees close to your shoulders, or you can just lie against the wall with your seat against the wall and your heels on the wall. Or if you don't have a wall, just sit on your hands with your legs straight up. Feet over your hips. Important to be steady, comfortable in the pose so that your mind can come into stillness. Remember that it's always important to be establishing the ethical rules, the yamas and niyamas. Without that, there is no yoga, and the mind will always be restless. It will never settle into stillness. For to have observance of those precepts, you lose attachment to the desires and that cause pain and suffering. Now from here you can come into Pindasana if you have a lotus. If you're able to, you can wrap your arms around the legs, join your hands underneath the seat, embryo pose. If you don't have a lotus, come into plow. Bring your feet over your head, behind your head. If your feet don't come all the way down, you can place your hands on your back. If you push a little bit gently into your back, so your seat comes over your shoulders, you might be able to get your feet down eventually. Don't force, don't strain. Be mindful of your limitations. Those of you who want can bring your thighs down against your body, your knees on either side of the head. Karna Pindasana. Then you imagine you're shutting all the inputs out of the ears and the eyes to allow yourself to go deeper within, beyond the body, the mind, and the emotions. Withdraw from your senses. The senses sometimes send you really into that place of desire as well. Now get ready to come into fish. Put your hands behind your back, on the ground, index fingers and thumbs tips touching. Bring your legs down gradually. If you like, once your seat lands on your wrists, you can keep or bring your legs down all the way or stop midway, 45 degrees. If you have a lotus, you can continue down to your lotus, do the lotus version of the pose if you know it. Otherwise, Press into your elbows. Lift your chest up and bring the top head down. And from here, streak of breath. Breathe very fast and nose like a sniffing dog. Now bring your feet down on the ground close to your seat, or slide them in if your legs are extended. Keep your head where it is. Remove your hands out from underneath, place them beside your head, the fingertips facing away, the palms facing towards your head a little bit, towards your feet, and lift your seat. Slide your head further back towards your feet, then turn your hands around. Index fingers, all fingers facing towards your feet, fingers turned outwards. You can stay here with your head on the ground, or if you have the energy, take a breath in, lift your head up, and play with your asana. You can also just stay in bridge, your head on the ground, back of the head, shoulders on the ground, just lift your seat. You can join your hands underneath your body if you like, underneath your seat. And kind of get your chest closer to your chin. Now wherever you're at, see if you like, you can raise your left knee up into your chest, extend your legs straight up. You can do this with your asana or your bridge. Or stay without raising your leg, it's all good. And then come down, do with the other side. Right leg comes up, bring the right leg up. Stay strong, stay formidable. And back down with the leg. Lift up your heels. If you know other variations, of course, go ahead. Walk your hands closer to your feet if you like. Eventually, your fingertips will come to your heels. You can do chakrasana if you're very, very flexible and have no shoulder issues. You can eventually take hold of your ankles. Come up into a wheel, full circle. And then come back down. Relax on your back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Let go of all fatigue, all struggles. Now bring your knees up to your shoulders and squeeze your shins. Press down with your shins and your hands. And then just allow your thighs to come against either side of the abdomen. Press the heels towards the seat. Your knees are apart, your feet are apart. From here, happy baby pose. Take hold of the edges of the feet. You can either take them from the outside or inside. I like the outside, but some people find it more comfortable this way, more accessible, and just rock back and side to side, massaging your spine. Try to get your knees to the ground. You can even try to get both knees to the ground at the same time if you like. Keep the sacrum down, the seat down. And now from here, bring the soles of the feet together. Interlace your fingers underneath the outer edges of the feet and press your knees away. And bring the heels right to the root of the body. So it's like you're doing Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, legs. Again, just try to press the base, the lower part of the seat down. Back into happy baby pose. This time, if you like, bring your shoulders in front of the knees. Do a few up and back and forth here, side to side. Those who are very so just press the backs of the shoulders into the backs of the knees. And from here, take hold of the inside of the heels and bring your feet down, open up your legs, try to bring your toes to the ground in line with the shoulders, perhaps. Try to keep the seat from lifting up. Your back flat on the ground. And from here, those who are flexible can try yoga nidrasana. So you come back with your happy baby pose, your shoulders in front of your knees, bring your thumb and your index finger fork the heel and pull the feet further back. It's we're about to go to plow. Cross your ankles if you can and just slip your head in front of your feet. And then you just press down, back to your arms. You can join your hands in prayer or lock your fingers together behind, underneath your back. So lots of different options here. It's according to your condition. Breathe from this heart to the space between the eyebrows and back. Always keeping that connection open, nice, open as much as possible. And release. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now from here, sit up. Cross your ankles. Make it out your belly. Starting off, just rest for a moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. Do Cobra. You can hold the edges of the mat if you like, tug on the mat and lift your chest up. So this like Sphinx pose. And eventually you can maybe lift your elbows up off the mat, bring your head back, curve your spine a little bit more. Bring your shoulders back. Eventually walk your hands towards you. Come up higher. Try to get your feet together like a tail of a snake. Bring your head up. If you want to come onto your fingertips, bring them as close to your hips as possible. So lean forward, thumbs touching the sides, just align the belly, and that's about the right height you can if you can. Bring your head back. Try to get as much height as possible. If you want, open up your legs, bend your knees up, point your toes. Eventually maybe the toes will find your head, especially if your torso and your legs are the same length, this becomes more possible. When your feet touch the head, you can bring your heels, the palms down. Release, break the pose, come down, relax, breathe in, breathe out. One more. Hold the ankles, lift the chest, and come into bow pose. Any variation you like. You can even keep your thighs on the ground. Concentrate, push your ankles back away from your head. If you have the mobility of the shoulders, you can take one foot up first, bring your elbow higher than the shoulder, then turn your elbow forward so you're not torquing the joints in a weird way. And then the other foot will come up easily. Try to get your elbow at least the height of the shoulder. Once you have one foot, it's easier to take the other one. And then you come into your bow pose, your upward facing, your other variation of the bow, the full pose. Again, just do according to your abilities. Make it an offering. Break the pose. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Roll onto your back. Bring your feet at least the width of the mat, the edges of the feet on the edges of the mat, and then just drop your knees over to the right all the way. And then go back and forth to the other side. Go to your left. About 3 times on each side. Nice and easy movements. Next time you go to the right, stay there. If you like, you can take your right foot and just press down on, bring it on top of the outside of the left knee, and use a foot to just press the knee down towards the ground, and see if you can allow the right knee to fall towards the earth as well. The arms are like a T. Try not to lift the back of the shoulders from the mat. Make sure the front of the shoulders not jutting up on the left side. And now just really try to point that left knee towards the far end of the mat in front of you, the short end of the mat. Feel stretch all along the left shoulder, right to the knee. Drop your hips down. Lengthen the side body, the trunk. Come back, go to the other side, all the way to your left. Use the left foot to press down on the outside of the right knee if you like. Allow the left knee to just drop all the way down to the left if you can. And point the right knee away from you towards the front end of the mat, the far end of the mat. And try to feel a nice extension from the shoulder, the right shoulder all the way down to the right knee. Lion Shavasana. Make your way onto your back. Now comes the time when we integrate everything. Just imagine the best of the best coming in now. Through the pores of the skin like great beams of light. Everything you need to feel fulfilled, to feel content, to feel grounded. All that love and the security, the wisdom, the grace, directed all to the spiritual heart, the residing place of God. And as God is equally present in all forms, request God to send it out to all beings everywhere. Your gift to all beings. Try to bring everyone on the same page, in a place of contentment, of unity, feeling one with all beings, feeling loved. And to make yourself even more receptive to all those gifts, let go of all the physical, mental, and emotional blockages. Let go, surrender to relaxation. Feel the feet becoming dead, just barely hanging off the ankles, as though by a mere thread, allowing them to fall heavily to the outside, dead-like, toes lifeless, the rest of the feet heavy, no tension. And then feel that heaviness moving up the legs, slowly up the lower legs first. Feel as though all the muscles just dissolved. And with all the strength removed, all the engagement of the muscles, any amount of weight feels heavy. So feel as though the muscles were just hanging off the bones. The knees are just completely inactive. You just allow the signal to pass through into the upper legs. Allow those legs, the limbs, become heavy as well. Those heavy thigh muscles feel as though they completely dissolved, melted into the ground. The hips, the seat, heavy as can be. Feel the seat as heavy as though it were filled with liquid, sinking into the ground. Everything from the hips down, sagging from its own weight. Heavy all the way down the legs, to the feet, to the toes. Now the hands feel as though they were completely dead, lifeless. Fingers loose, lifeless, dangling loosely. The hands as well, just dangling off the wrists, lifelessly, dead-like. Lower arms, soft, completely relaxed, all the muscles just like jelly. The elbows, just a gateway through which the signal passes to the upper arms to melt those muscles away as well. Feels as though they dissolved and then became completely like useless and listless. Upper arms heavy, anchored down by the shoulders, all the bones in the shoulders heavily pressing down, anchoring down the arms in place, unable to move them. They were so weak at this point, heavy. Now starting at the top of the back, feel the back just sinking down gradually. The shoulder blade area getting very, very heavy. Right down to the tips and along just past the shoulder blades, all spreading across the whole lower back. The natural rise in the lower back just flattening out as a result of all the heaviness just bearing down on it. Not in an oppressive way, just that uniform heaviness as though a big blanket of lead were lying on the body. Along with it, underneath that blanket are the organs. All the organs just having all the extra weight on it. They can't even function anymore, so they gradually slow down to the point of almost stopping. Eventually not even the blood running in its veins remains stagnant like water in a swamp. And the nerves even stop running up and down the spine to talk to the brain. So it's as though the body were completely disconnected from the brain. No response, no reaction to any commands of the brain. The body is like a corpse. The neck completely relaxed. The head heavy on the ground, depressing the earth where it sits. The face completely soft. No signs at all of tension. No wrinkles etched in the forehead to show signs of stress or pressure, or around the eyes. No squinting around the mouth. Mouth is just in a soft smile. No pursing of the lips. No tightness around the mouth. The tongue just resting in its bed. The teeth just comfortably set, neither clenching or grinding or anything of the sort. Just completely soft and relaxed. So the brain becomes quiet, not having to deal with the body anymore. The body is quiet. It's as though it were completely unknown to the brain, and the brain therefore comes into silence, permitted to, so that all the activity in the brain slows down, eventually just ceases altogether. And in that stillness, bring your mind back again to that infiniteness of God, however you want to imagine it. Maybe it's the limitless sky above you. Maybe it's back in that ocean, that unimaginable depth of the ocean. Or if you're even looking from the shore, those endless waves that are constant right to the edge of the horizon, where you know it keeps on going. Just try to imagine your compassion being as limitless as though that ocean or that sky or the space beyond the universe, beyond the earth. Keep cultivating that boundless compassion, love towards all, through continuous exploration of the forms. Continually try to go deeper and more within them, to find God within them. A sign of those who are self-realized are those who have boundless compassion, who see sameness in everything. And who have unconditional love towards all. Make that an intention in your mind and your heart. By repeating to yourself the following sentence 3 times, mentally. I see God in all beings. And when you have that mindset, it becomes virtually impossible to do harm to anyone. For who could want to hurt God, who is the embodiment of goodness, of love, of grace, of wisdom? Now prepare to come back into a seated position, ready to carry out your mission into the world. So now prepare to come back to a seated position. Once you're back, sit tall and supreme in acknowledgement of your mission to continue to spread the love and light to all. Remember, the highest form of selfless service is to share the spiritual knowledge that helps us to remove others, to help us to remove ourselves from pain and suffering. Give that gift to all beings as well. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be receptive to the grace of God all is within. This concludes our practice, our Maha Sadhana. Thank you so very much. Namaste. Have a wonderful Easter. Thank you so much.